What's up, YouTube? Zach's back with another attack, and today we're going to be talking about how my iPhone broke and I needed to send it to Apple to have them fix it, and all of the craziness that I had to go through using an Android and an old iPhone that's all cracked and stuff to get by in the meantime, and telling you a little bit about how the process went and my thoughts on Apple's overall ability to fix your phone by sending it to them through the mail. So, let's get right to it.
If you like darkness and hanging with Heartless, then you are not Sora, but you may be looking for a channel to watch. Zach to the future.
Alright, so a few weeks ago, sorry, I am losing my voice a little bit. I think I'm getting sick, I don't really know. But a few weeks ago, my phone broke. I have an iPhone 7 and there's an issue with it where a piece inside of it will break or stop working after a while, and it can prevent it from ever being able to access the network that you're on, essentially rendering the phone as an iPod Touch. Now, this was pretty bad. It was really annoying and I couldn't use my phone. At first I thought that it was a simple matter of backing it up and restoring it via iTunes, so I tried that, but every time it came up with an error saying that my phone couldn't be fixed. It had an error code, which I looked up, and it basically said it was a hardware issue. So I looked up ways to fix that, tried pretty much everything I possibly could on my end, and nothing worked. It was an issue where Apple would fix it for free, and I still had a warranty, so I was willing to send it to Apple. I've never done this before. If my screen cracked before, I would either just go to an independent place, or I used to be able to just drive to an Apple store, but I'm not able to do that anymore. The closest one's about 2 hours away, and doing that just to get told that they couldn't fix my phone, that's just a lot of gas, and it wouldn't be free at that point. So I wanted to try this out. Apple actually has a service where if you're able to send them your phone, they can either mail you a box and you can mail it back, or you can just go to a UPS store and then they will take care of everything. They'll give the box, they'll send it out. You know, all you have to do is find a UPS store, go in, give them a code that Apple will give you when you register to send it to them, and then let UPS get it to Apple. Then, of course, you can track things as it goes. Originally, I was told that it would take 7 to 10 days. They did not say business days, which frustrated me because they meant business days, and I guess I should have known that, but I feel like places should say business days if they're talking about business days. Otherwise, I'm going to think that your weekends are included in these 7 to 10 days. If it's business days, then that's different, and that's more frustrating. So, I just wish they had clarified that a little bit, but I guess I can let that slide. As I checked up on it, not a whole lot happened. I did watch it track it. UPS actually sent it next day for free to Apple, so that was really cool. I did see that Apple received it. Then it just sat for about a day, and that was frustrating. The next day, it did update and say that it was waiting to be serviced. So Apple had it, it was just waiting to be serviced. That was about a day and a half, maybe 2 days. And then I had the alert that it was in the process of being serviced. They were taking a look at it for about 4 days. So 6 days had passed, and it said they were looking at it. Now, I don't know about you, but it's hard to go without a phone for 6 days. And obviously it took longer than that for me to actually get it back. So I initially was using this phone. This is a very cracked 6 Plus. As you can see, it's got stuff missing all over the place, cuts your fingers, and it's jailbroken, so that was kind of nice, but the service was subpar on it. When you're used to a smaller phone that's not cracked at all and works good, and the camera works. As you can see, the camera is completely cracked over on this, and it's a little bit harder to film with the rear camera, so that's a whole nother issue. But I switched my service over to here, which wasn't easy because I had to call Sprint and have them activate this phone, and when you don't have a phone, that becomes a problem. So I was able to connect this phone to Wi-Fi download an Android app that allows you to make free phone calls, call Sprint, get them to activate this phone, and because it's jailbroken, I had a service on here where you can basically get free hotspot and use your service to another phone. So I would use the Wi-Fi from this as a hotspot to power this Android phone, and I used a Galaxy S5 for quite a while during this time because it's not cracked. Everything kind of just worked better on it. It didn't have a phone number, but that same app actually allowed me to get a phone number and make free text and calls the entire time. So that was really, really nice. This worked okay, but obviously you don't want to be using it too much and cracking your fingers. You see, I told you I'm sick. I'm not right in the head. Not cracking your fingers, cutting your fingers, and cracking the screen even more than it already is. This was almost like this before, but it wasn't completely off, and now it is, and the screen actually worked before. Now after using it, I can't show you because it's dead, but the whole screen had lines going across it, and it was purple, and it was unusable. It would touch itself everywhere, and it just wasn't fun at all. It was very difficult to use reliably. So I mostly was using this S5. I will be doing a review on the S5 in 2018 very soon here, but I need a little bit of time to do that, so let's go back to Apple. As I'm using these phones, checking the status constantly, I did finally have it say that Apple was finished. And a day later, they sent it out. It had been about 9 days at this point, so on the 10th day, they sent it back to me, and instead of using UPS, like they used with their partnership to have me send it to them, they used FedEx for some reason. Don't ask me why. So Apple sends it back to me FedEx. It was next day, but unfortunately it was on a Friday that they next dayed it. So I didn't get it until the following Monday. And the problem is I work a 4 in the morning to 1 in the afternoon job. And FedEx tends to come by my house before 1 o'clock in the afternoon, which normally isn't too big of a problem, but when you get packages like this, you do have to sign for it. I will say that's good because then it's not just sitting on my porch where somebody can steal it, but I did in this case say, leave it on my porch if you have to, because I can come on my lunch. I was constantly refreshing that page, tracking it, to see if FedEx had delivered it yet, and as soon as it was delivered, or just before it was delivered, I was planning on taking my lunch break, coming home, and being able to get it. Because I missed my phone. It's hard to go that long without your good phone, and I'm paying for it still, so I expect to be able to use it. I don't think that's unfair of me. But finally, I get an update saying I wasn't home to sign for it, and FedEx couldn't deliver it to the porch, so they took it with them. When I got off work, I went straight to the FedEx store, and they said that the truck driver wouldn't be back until 5 o'clock. So that day, I got a call saying that Ashley had twisted her ankle real bad. That's my wife. And I went and made sure she was cool. After I got her back home and got her some ice to ice it and everything, I went back to the FedEx store to get my phone, and I had received it, a little brown box. They do send it fairly well. It was in a way that I didn't think it would get damaged in the shipping process, unless they were literally just chucking it around, which even then, it had some cushion in it of cardboard. I wasn't too worried, but then when I opened it, it didn't have a SIM card in it. It had a new serial number. I don't think they gave me a new phone because it still had some of the marks that I had on it, such as scratches on the outside. It did look like the screen was actually new, which is awesome if you ask me. But on the body of it, it did have some dings that were still there. So unless they got me a similar looking beat up body with just a better screen, which may be the case because I didn't analyze my body that much. Either way, it wasn't a new phone. It did look like it was in actually better condition than when I sent it to them. However, it did have a new serial number. They said they put a new battery in it. That was really awesome. Apple didn't have to do that. They said they cleaned out the charging port, which is really awesome. Again, they didn't have to do that. That wasn't my issue. But I'm really happy that they got that all fixed so that my phone's better than ever when I get it back. I admire that about Apple. You really can't get that kind of service with another company. But it didn't have a SIM card, had a new serial number, so I wasn't able to activate it. Even calling Sprint, putting my old SIM card into it didn't work. I had no way to get it activated again without going into Sprint. So of course, I got it back on that Monday at 5 o'clock. I spent the whole night and half of the next day trying to get my iTunes backup placed on it, which it said it was corrupt. Finally had to download some random software that I found that was able to fix the corrupt backup. If you're interested in what that's called or anything, just leave a comment down below. I can get back to you. That way you can fix any corrupt data backups that you've got if that's an issue. But once that was figured out, I did get it restored, was able to go to a Sprint store and get it figured out on that Tuesday. So all in all, it took about 14 days from me handing my phone to the lady at the UPS store to getting my phone back on Sprint and being able to use it as my daily driver again. So out of 10 stars, I would say that Apple probably gets an 8 for this one. And normally I'm a big fan of Apple, but it's really, really frustrating. The prices to fix this screen were so high that I'm not able to do it. It's like $129, and this phone's only getting older, only getting slower, and I'd have to pay another $20 for a new battery probably. So it's not worth it for me to just get that phone fully fixed up. Luckily, they did this one for free, like I said, but still, I didn't have a good phone to use in the meantime, and it just took so long for it to happen. The only thing that really makes it all good is that, for one, it's not really Apple's fault that it took so long. It is their fault that the chip broke in the first place to a certain extent, and it's their fault that I didn't really have a good phone to use in the meantime, because that screen's too expensive to fix. And I don't know, maybe they can send you just like a burner phone to use or something. That would be really awesome of them. But either way, it is really awesome that they did fix some other little things while they were working on my phone. So I will give them an 8 out of 10. I do recommend it if it's free. If it's not free, maybe just figure out the drive to your nearest Apple store and try and get it figured out same day. I wish I would have done that now, because I had to stop making videos and it really put me behind. I'm actually thinking about lowering my videos to only 2 a week and then 1 live stream, just to make sure I'm getting this regularly done and making sure that I get the best content possible for you. So let me know what you think about that too down in those comments. If you think that I should keep trying to do 5, or if I should do 2 in a live stream or something like that. So anyways, guys, I'm Zach. Don't you do crack. Leave a comment down in that shoe rack, and I will catch you in the future.